Thanks for your company this afternoon, and straight to the debate about Labor's climate policy. Chris Bowen this afternoon addressed the National Press Club in Canberra. He said that 43% target by 2030 is non-negotiable, regardless of what happens at the election and regardless of who they may have to negotiate with on the crossbench. Let's bring in our political editor, Andrew Clennell, now to start our discussion this afternoon. Andrew, and you were there with Prime Minister Morrison in the eastern suburbs, where, of course, this is a big issue, one that resonates in Wentworth.
Yes, Kieran, Scott Morrison in Malcolm Turnbull's old Sydney eastern suburb seat of Wentworth today to push his environmental credentials on recycling waste. And once again in this pre-campaign campaign, from the seat visits by the leaders today, we can tell a lot. We can see the seats both the government and Labor are worried about. In Morrison's case, Wentworth, with Liberal Dave Sharma the member, but under threat from Independent Allegra Spender, the daughter of former Liberal MP John Spender and Carla Zampatti. And in Anthony Albanese's case, Dobell, a Central Coast seat in New South Wales that Labor holds by just 1.5%. So are Labor, who at this point look like they will struggle to win 8 seats to get to a majority of the government, majority of the parliament, looking to piggyback off the results of people like Zali Steggall in Warringah and off Allegra Spender to get to government, even if it means in minority? Well, Scott Morrison was again pushing the Labor Greens government possibility line this morning, as he was at a snowy hydro visit on Friday. A very clear message here: vote for Dave Sharma, you get me. Vote for Allegra Spender, you run the risk of getting Anthony Albanese. A sense of deja vu with this one.
Protecting our local environment, whether it's here in Wentworth or down in my local electorate. In this term, we were able to get Dave Sharma elected, and that's also because Dave does such a great job here on the ground. You know, at this election, next year, it is a choice. It's a choice between the Liberals and the Nationals and Labor and the Greens. And at the end of the day, someone's going to be chairing Cabinet, and that's going to be me or Anthony Albanese. Someone's going to be chairing the National Security Committee of Cabinet and making decisions about keeping Australians safe in our region. Who you choose locally, whether it's a member of the government in the form of Dave Sharma or anyone else, the only way you can ensure that we can secure our economic recovery and keep Australians safe in these uncertain times is supporting the Liberals and Nationals candidates.
One difficulty with the PM campaigning in Wentworth is the member for Dave Sharma's stance on emissions reduction is closer to Labor's than the PM, as I put to him.
For the Greens targets.
Prime Minister, the gentleman on your right called in a speech in September for a 40 to 45% cut in emissions by 2035. Do you disagree with Dave Sharma on that?
That's not the government's policy. I respect Dave's commitment to this area, but what we're doing is we've got the right balance in our policies.
Now, the prospect of this Labor-Greens alliance is actually a really important question for Labor. Would they succumb to an agreement with some pretty unpopular, even extreme or economy-endangering policies? Should they have to line up with Adam Bandt or indeed Andrew Wilkie, who tweeted on Friday about how the government should adopt a net zero emissions by 2035 policy? We saw what happened with Julia Gillard and the carbon tax in a minority government situation. I put this to Deputy Labor leader Richard Marles on Sunday Agenda yesterday, this minority government. Would you rule out a Labor Greens minority government?
We're not going to enter into a coalition with the Greens. We've been making that clear from day one. This is just Scott Morrison lying again.
Well, what happens if you're at 73 seats though, and the other guy's at 72? I mean,
we're seeking to win government in our own right.
Okay, but what if you don't?
Yeah, well, Andrew, right now our proposition is about how to get to 76.
So there is no Labor Greens minority government.
We are not going to enter into a coalition with the Greens. We've made that clear.